this image could talk, what would it say? Fuck, it doesn't fit. Well, it's a new day, back at the shop. Got lots done last night. Got this main tube bent up for right there. This one for the other side right there still needs to be cut to length and all that. But I think next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull these frame brackets off and then prep those and prep these plates, put a nice bevel on them to get those tacked up, and then we'll start working on some mounting bars. Lots to do. I've got to keep my feet moving and yeah, just get after it. Tube is right where I want it. I've got my brackets tacked up and I'm just trying to make my mounting bar. I'm just taking a bunch of angle measurements, and it's about 5.5 degrees to kick down. So what I've done is I've set my bandsaw to 5.5 degrees, made a cut, and I just wanted to show you this little tool that I made. So it's basically a ring that fits perfectly over the tube, and it's sectioned up into these quadrants, 90 degrees. So what you can do after you've made the cut, it's still in the saw, and then you're gonna make a cope down here. And since mine's gonna be about 7.5 degrees offset to mate up with that tube there, I just wanna have it marked perfectly with this cut so that I know that it lines up right. So now I can just go in here and be very careful and mark the tube. Take it out and then mark the outside as well. So I'll show you this little thing. So yeah, it's just a ring that fits over, and I measured it out perfectly, and then I scribed these little lines on it, and then just took a little triangular file to kind of work in those grooves, and then I put a bit of red paint in there so it's easier to see. All right, I'm getting set up here to do my offset notch. This angle cut here, that was about 5.5 degrees. And we've marked down on the tube about 5/8 of an inch because that's how much we want our notch to be. And now we're just trying to get the tube set in the notcher so that this is right at the top. And then we're just gonna put our clamp on here, zero it, and then we're gonna try and offset it in the right direction. I marked it here just kind of as a reference so I know which way to actually offset it so I don't get confused. first outer tube's all tacked in. It's sitting on its own weight. Now I'm just working on this other side support tube here. So I've got it cut to angle. That's gonna, I want it to land right there on that mark in between the two bolts like that. And then we're gonna notch into this tube. So I'm just trying to figure out my offset here and then the distance to the throat of the cope. So got my handy dandy little angle cube here. We'll stick it up there and zero it. And then we'll check it off here. So yeah, about 8.5 degrees. So we need to offset it 8.5 degrees. And then I'm just gonna measure for my distance and then we'll mark the cope and send it. Okay, fresh out of the saw and the hole notcher, or the tube notcher. Let's see how she fits. Okay, really good right off the rip. It's out a little bit, so I'm just gonna have to grind that out just a little bit to bring that to center, but it won't take much. So I've got this fitting super nice, although I missed a critical detail. We've got these side boxes that I made that come down really nicely. And the way that they come down, that's not gonna fit. So I'm basically gonna have to scrap this and then instead of a 60 here, we'll probably have to do a 90 and then have it come down a bit further so that it's on a bit of an angle that way as well, which kind of sucks because that took a while to fit up and make it really nice, but that's kind of the way this stuff goes. So whatever, we're gonna move on and try again. Well, we made up a new piece. Let's see if second time's the charm on that one. Yeah. Perfect. I like that. And that's with no grinding at all. So we've got room for the box. And it actually matches this angle now too, which is kind of nice. That looks pretty good. We'll do a bit of cleanup and tack that in. So I decided to do one more little crossbar to triangulate all this. It connects into the main frame rail bracket right there. This little feller. Cut it on a 45 there, notched it there so that it fits perfectly onto that tube and then onto the plate as well. And then just notched it into this tube. Well, I think that's probably gonna do it for the day. I got this side basically all tacked up. Support brace right there is all tacked up. I got these two done, fitting up real nice. Hitch is tacked up, and then I got this side cut to fit. And we built this one, also fits really nice. So yeah, just doing a bit of cleanup, and then tomorrow we're gonna start working on this one, that one, and then we'll work on the outer hoop here. It's finally Friday, the working week's over, and we're back at the shop. So I just realized that I kind of missed explaining how I set up this piece here. So it's all tacked in now, same as this side. I've also got this piece kind of just taped in lightly because I want to weld this tube underneath where this tube's gonna sit. So yeah, I'm just gonna explain to you how I kind of figured this one out, because it comes up this way on an 8 degree, and then it's coming down on, well, an unknown angle. So I'll show you how I figured it out. I took this chunk of aluminum here and I marked center on it. It's 2 inch, so it was 1 inch center. And then I marked on this plate where I wanted the tube to land, so right there. Same on the other side. And then I held that up against the back side, kind of like that, and then up to the tube there. And then I just marked a line on that plate. And then I was able to just measure the angle. And then you've got the perfect angle and the distance from there to there. So you know where the throat of your notch needs to be, and you know the angle. As long as you mark the top of that, it should all stay nice and square. And then as far as figuring out how much you need to offset the notch here for this one here, so that it comes up perfectly and fits really nice like that does, all you do is stick your handy dandy angle cube on there, zero it, and then check what it is there. I'm basically just doing exactly what I did on that side. So we're just gonna work on that piece, that support bar there, and then we're gonna make another one of those. Another thing I like doing when I'm notching tube is just take this that I showed you earlier, and then you can use it to mark the end of your tube. And then you just take a piece of angle that fits in there nice, and then you can just mark lines down the tube that stay parallel. So that just really helps when you're working on this side and then you're going to do an offset notch over on another place. So we got our 45 cut. Now we're all set up in the notcher, and yeah, you can just see how nice it is to have these lines marked out, because then it's so much easier to just look into the notcher and see when you're nice and level. So I'm also gonna check it with the cube, so I can just go like off of there and then off the face there, make sure we're 90. And then since the outside diameter of this tube is about 1.66 inches, you always want to notch to about 1/3 of the tube diameter. So that ends up being about 9/16. So I've just marked a line, 9/16, and then yeah, we'll send the notch. Well, stuck with the old plan, and she fits like a finger in a bum. Real nice. That'll weld up just fine. Okay, time to tackle this unit here. Finger in a bum once again. Get that one tacked in. With a little bit of time and attention, we got it all fit up by hand really nicely. That'll hang out there, and that's gonna be right there. Yeah, really nice. So now we just need to start working on the other side, and then we'll build some supports on here as well. Coming along. Well, I got my outer tube all tacked in, and now I'm just trying to work out a couple of 30-degree braces that I'm gonna do there and there. And they're gonna be spaced evenly between here, 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 and here. So that should look really nice and symmetrical. I made sure to make these the right distance apart when I made all that, so that this, and this would be spaced equally. Just gonna try and show you how I go about figuring out how long to cut these pieces so that I can cut it and notch it and have it fit the first time, hopefully. So it's 30 degrees. This is a 60-degree bend. All we really need to know is the distance here. And in this case, it was 2 1/4. I've already measured it and figured this all out, so I just wanted to show you how I did it. I'm sure I could probably just, you know, put a tube underneath and mark it and kind of guess, but I'm trying to take out a little bit of the guesswork and not waste any material. So I just did a little bit of math, because that's kind of just the millwright and machinist in me. So it's a 30, 60, 90 triangle with our distance of 2 1/4 that we measured already. And first we need to find this bottom length. So we go 2 1/4 divided by the square root of 3 gives you 1.299. And then you multiply it by 2 to get the hypotenuse of the triangle. So for that we got 2.598. And then that'll be the distance between the throat of each notch. But then you got to remember that you need to add 1/3 the tube diameter for each side. So in this case, it's 1.66, so about 9/16. So we did 2 times 9/16, which is 1 1/8 to give us a total of 3.723. So we'll just round up to 3.75, 3 3/4, and then we'll be able to kind of fit it perfectly with this guy. My first 30-degree cut. Now I'm just lining up for the second at 3 3/4, and then we'll hit her with a couple notches. Well, there she is, right out of the notcher, and a tiny bit of cleanup with the flapper wheel. Pretty much just snaps right into place. That's perfect. So yeah, now we just got to make one more, and then we'll do up this side. Well, we're at the part where everybody gets to teach me how to weld in the comments section. I think I'm gonna flip it over and start with the bottom, because the first few are probably gonna be junk. I am definitely a little bit rusty, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, that's why I started on the bottom. I'm definitely feeling a little bit rusty, but I'm okay with that. A bit better. This is just the bottom side though. So a couple more and then I'll flip her back over. Anyone else ever feel like their practice welds turn out way better than the actual thing? Like this is right before I was just getting the machine set up. And then they turn out like that, which is like not bad, but definitely not like that. Heck, I don't know, oh well. Good enough. Bumper's all ready to get bolted back onto the truck. Hopefully it fits still, there's a lot of welding. But everything kind of fit up really nicely, so I'm hoping that it didn't move too much. Still a little bit of cleanup to do, and then obviously paint, but I haven't decided on what color I'm gonna paint them yet, because I want to paint match the rear bumper, the rock sliders, and the front bumper that I'm probably gonna build eventually at some point too. It's got a trail gear, low profile tube bumper on it right now, but I might build something a little bit different. But on that note, what do you guys think of these rock sliders? I've just built these up for someone else actually to fund this truck. But which do you prefer? This design or this design? I can do any design really, but these are the two that I've done so far. These ones would fit the length of my truck. That's about 75 inch. Those are about 60 inch on the main rail. So that'd be for like a 3rd gen 4Runner, that kind of thing. So yeah, let me know what you think. Would look good on my truck. I do like having a little bit of a kick out just because, you know, it's a pretty big cab, being a dual cab. And that rear tire pokes pretty aggressively. So I'm probably not gonna wheel this truck too much, but you know, if I were to be rubbed up against a tree here, it'd be nice to kick it out past the tire. And now we've got this to protect the rear end too, which is great. So yeah, let's bolt this baby up and see if it fits. If this image could talk, what would it say? Fuck, it doesn't fit. She's too tight. Gonna spread the cheeks open a little bit and then, yeah, hopefully it bolts up. We'll try again. There it is. Fits up great. I'm happy with that. Cool. This thing is rock solid. If you're wondering what these little tabs and this wiring hanging down is for, it's just for these little pod lights, reverse lights. So those are wired into the reverse switch, so those will come on. Should be sweet. Just gotta figure out what color I'm gonna paint all this now. And build rock sliders too. That will be next. Right on. Well, if you made it this far in the video, I just want to say thanks so much for watching. This is kind of outside of my comfort zone. I really don't like filming myself, filming what I'm doing. So enough people have told me that I got to try doing it. So here I am trying to do it. Yeah, I kind of just like building stuff, but I'll try filming a bit of what I do as well. And hopefully you guys want to follow along. There's going to be lots more coming on this truck, lots of exciting news. It's kind of a never-ending project, and I want to go on some really cool adventures with it too. So we're going to be getting all set up to do that. Lots of fun stuff coming. Stick around. Consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any of the videos. And yeah, maybe hit a like, drop a comment. Tell me what you liked, tell me what you didn't like. And tell me what color I should paint this bar work.